What's up, everybody? Kevin Ioli here. Hope you had a great weekend. I know we're going to have a good weekend this coming weekend. Saturday, February 22nd is one of the best boxing cards that I can remember top to bottom. Just a fantastic card put together by Turki Al Sheikh. Is going to be held in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and talk by the rematch between Artur Beterbiev, the undisputed light heavyweight champion, and the former WBA light heavyweight champion, Dmitry Bivol. They fought in October in a fantastic fight. That was won by Beterbiev. That's why he's the undisputed champion. That was a majority decision, 114, 114, and then 116, 112, 115, 113 for Beterbiev in that fight. I actually had that fight for Bivol, but it was close. It could have gone either way. And I want to get into that fight and talk about that a little bit, but I want to start just by going and talking about this card and how this is what I think boxing on television has needed for a long time. Now, we'll see what kind of reaction it gets on pay-per-view in the US. It's still going to start early. It's still going to be a difficult time to sell in the US, and the promotion hasn't been what you would hope it would be. But listen to this card for a second, because I think this is unbelievably crazy. So we open up with the undisputed, or not open up, but I'm just going to go top down. The undisputed light heavyweight title fight between Beterbiev and Bivol. We already saw it once. It was fantastic. These two guys are really, really good. I think it should be a better fight this time as they make adjustments. So we know that that is an amazing fight. The IBF heavyweight title fight is next between Daniel Dubois and Joseph Parker. Dubois has really been coming on recently, looking fantastic. And I think, he might be the successor to Alexander Usyk as the guy in the heavyweight division. But he's fighting a veteran in Joe Parker, who kind of had this late career resurgence. So that fight is really amazing. The WBC lightweight champion, Shakur Stevenson, who I will admit has been disappointing in his last couple outings and has not fought the kind of fight that I think he is capable of. He is fighting Floyd Schofield, a young on-the-rise fighter that I think has a lot of potential, but we will find out as he goes up against Shakur Stevenson. Stevenson, to me, I want you to get this right. I am not saying he is the best fighter in the world. I am saying he has that kind of talent. If he has to put it all together, if he happens to put it all together, he could be the number one fighter in the world. He is not right now, but he has that kind of talent. And who knows, maybe a talent on the other side of the ring from him, like a Floyd Schofield, could bring that up. Then we have a middleweight title fight between Carlos Adames and Hamzah Sheeraz. That should be a really fun fight, really good. A fight that I am really, really excited to see, a super welterweight bout, Vergil Ortiz and Israil Madrimov. Ortiz, just a big knockout artist. Madrimov, a guy that lost to Bud Crawford in his last fight, and a really, really tough fight. And I have mentioned this before, but Jim Lampley last year had not seen Madrimov. The first time he saw him, he said he reminded him of Gennady Golovkin. That tells you what Jim thinks of Madrimov's talent. Then we have a heavyweight fight between Zhilei, Zhang, and Agit Kabayel, which I think is really going to be fun. Both guys are kind of, contenders. I'm not sure they're the elite of the elite, but, Zhang can punch. Kabayel hasn't been beaten yet. He keeps handling everybody, even though some people think, okay, he's reached his level. He exceeds that. So I'm really looking forward to that fight. And then the fight that, I think is going to be a fun fight, but if I say that I care the least about is Joshua Buatsi and Callum Smith. Not because it's a bad fight, but because listen to those other fights on the lineup. It is insane how good this is. So make sure you tune in for that. But let's start with I want to just talk about in this video. I'm going to kind of go through a lot of these fights this week, and we're going to have a lot of content on this fight, both on KevinIoli.com and on my YouTube channel this week. discussing this fight card, because I think it's certainly worthy of it when you see the fighters and the promoters and Turki Al-Sheikh step up and put on this kind of show and do what a lot of us have been calling for. Then we need to support it. And so I'm going to support it in the best way I can by providing a lot of coverage, talking about it a lot, and trying to get the awareness out there, because I think this is a card that if you are a lapsed boxing fan and you haven't watched the sport in a while and you see this, you're going to go, oh my God, this card is incredible. Now let's talk for a bit here about what we think is going to happen in the main event between Beterbiev and Bivol. I picked Beterbiev to win the fight the first time, and he did. I thought Bivol edged it out. I thought he outboxed Beterbiev, but it was a really close fight, and there was a lot of really close rounds in there, and it kind of depended upon what you were looking for. I think if both guys would look back on it and say, what can I do better? I think both of them maybe could have been more aggressive, and both of them maybe could have thrown more. I think from a Bivol standpoint, Bivol is more of a boxer, not that he doesn't hit hard, he does, but Beterbiev is one of the hardest punchers in boxing, period, end of story. And I think that Bivol, they had fought as amateurs and everything, but I think Bivol had to be careful a little bit. He couldn't just run in there and, start throwing and be open for something from Beterbiev. And so he had to see what he was up against. And when he saw that what he was doing was working pretty well, he was boxing pretty good, I think that, he stuck to that. I thought Beterbiev made adjustments in the fight, and that's why, I don't argue the decision, because I think you could make a very strong argument that he came on in the second half of the fight and did enough, to scratch it out, so that was it. But I think Beterbiev also was a little bit more cautious than I thought. I have said many times in talking about Beterbiev, he is a lot better than people give him credit for. He is just not this guy that throws power shots and wings crazy shots and happens to catch people. He knows how to box. He knows how to use his feet. He knows how to set his punches up. And yes, he punches like a light heavyweight version of Mike Tyson, but he is setting things up in the best possible way. And I think, maybe if he had gone that first time and really, gotten close to Bivol, kind of worked his way past that jab, and then gotten inside and sort of worked to the body and worked his way up, I think he might have been able to get Bivol out of there. I just think it's one of those things where, he just wasn't 100% confident in how he was approaching. And then as the fight started wearing on, Bivol moved even more and more. He was creating angles at first, and then he started moving even more. And so Beterbiev had a hard time really ever getting him where he could pin him on the ropes, pin him in a corner, get him in a confined space, and kind of let his hands go and let Bivol feel his power. So I think, from a Bivol standpoint, I think number one, he needs to double up on that jab. So if I'm in Dmitry Bivol's corner, I'm saying jab to the body, jab to the head, occasionally shoot that straight right hand, feint, then fire that straight right hand. I think he really needs to try to get Beterbiev thinking, right? Get Beterbiev wondering, okay, do I know what his pattern is? Do I know what is going to come back? I do think that he's going to be smart to do a lot of what he did in that first fight, which was create those angles, use his feet. I don't think he can stand there and admire his work. If he lands a right hand, I think he has to move away. I don't think he can just stand in front of himself and give Beterbiev a chance to just fire something back. From Beterbiev's standpoint, I think, he may have to take a few to give a few. And I think that, and I'm talking about a jab. So like if I'm Beterbiev, I come out jabbing, I come out aggressive, and I try to force Bivol back, get him on the ropes, get him in the corner. But I am jabbing hard too, but I think he needs to hook off that jab very early in the fight, right? So get something in there. And I think if he does the same thing where he works the body and he tries to go bottom up, it's going to be a big factor for him. I believe Beterbiev is the better fighter of these two. I think he has a greater toolbox. If he's behind, after 10 rounds, 7-3, I think he can find that knockout in rounds 11 and 12. Where I think if Bivol is behind 7-3, say after 10 rounds, it's going to be harder for him to stop Beterbiev and turn it around. So I believe that from a Bivol standpoint, he needs to, from the first moment, fight. Make Beterbiev, he's 40, what is he now, 41 years old, make him fight when he doesn't want to fight. His body has been breaking down. He had knee surgery last year. He just fought in October, so this is not a very long time for him to have to come back, right? So now sit here and say, all right, we are going to force this older fighter to work. We are going to make him move. We're going to make him do all these things that will try to maybe wear him down and take advantage of the fact that he is getting older and that he isn't the same as he was even 4 or 5 years ago. Not to say that he's shot, not to say that he's, really on the decline, but there's no way that a 40-plus-year-old fighter is the same as you were, 5 or 10 years earlier. And so I think Bivol needs to take advantage of that. But I think Beterbiev is the play here. I just think Beterbiev has been looking good in camp. His knee is healthy. He hasn't had any issues like he's had in previous camps. And I think he's now been in there with Bivol and he knows what to expect. And so I think you're going to see Beterbiev do some of the things that I talked about. And I think you will see him kind of pick up the pace and try to hurt Bivol and potentially stop him. I'm going to pick Beterbiev by decision, but I am going to say that it would not shock me if, say, after 8 rounds, he gets hurt and he might stop Dmitry Bivol. But I like Beterbiev to win this fight. I think it's going to be a really fun fight. I think the styles of these two kind of guarantee that. And so that is what we are going to see, in my opinion, in the main event in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia on Saturday night. Buckle up because it is going to be a great fight card. No lousy fights, no bum fights. These are all high-end matchups. I think you guys are going to love it. And that main event, wow, wow, wow. Please do me a favor, subscribe to my channel, like this video. Let me know in the comments what you think, who you think is going to win this fight, and I'll be talking about a lot of the fights coming up all week long. I should note again that I'm going to have Maven Huffman, WWF wrestler, on this week talking about some UFC fight cards. I have another surprise. I don't have the time yet, so I don't want to give the surprise away, but I have another big surprise who is going to come on with me and talk about these fights and discuss the fight card. So you want to stay tuned for that. Also, if you could do me a favor, go to kevinioli.com and register. It is free, and I don't want your email. Believe me, if you sign up, I will not email you. What I want that for is just to control spam, because in order to comment on my site, you have to be registered. So if you would do me that favor, I would greatly appreciate it. So subscribe here, like this video, comment on this video, and then go to kevinioli.com and check that out. And if you would see your way clear, I'd appreciate you to register for an account there. I will be back every day this week with a lot more content on this fight. Guys, I think it's going to be a phenomenal fight week and a phenomenal Saturday. I can't wait. I hope you're as psyched as I am. Enjoy the fight, everybody. We will talk to you soon.